Alright, welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 233. This one I am discussing a special. Yes, a special release in 2002. You think a special is like 30 minutes? Now this is like 50, this is almost an hour. This is from Kamen Rider Ryuki, 13 Rider Special. Basically, they do show up a couple Raiders in here, which I'm not going to talk much about them at all. One is like a dark version of Ryuki. The other is a female writer, which they expand more with these characters in episode final. But it does debut a original writer who only exists in this one special. Yes, this one and only special. He did pop up in Dragonite. This suit did pop up in Dragonite from what I read, and he popped up there for like a single episode. So this is a alternate continuity to that of Ryuki, where, like, here's something though. So the things that we're seeing in the show, like the contract stuff, the interesting backstory that they have for the creation, what happened in the series, not the case in this one. No, not really. Excuse me. So basically, the one writer they debuted here, who only exists in special, which of course they choose to go later. His name is Taro Tazakawa. He's Kamen Verte, and his power is that of a chameleon. Oh, he did pop up for the 4th anniversary special, but this is. By the way, this is an alternate continuity, so he never gets to the main show itself. So, yeah, they kind of explained that the Raider fight itself was, like, kind of interesting with this one. Where, like, there's still the wish thing, per se, and, of course, the guy who's in charge of this whole thing, who is, if I can find him here, Shiokawa. Yeah, he is here. We only see the beginning and a couple times toward the end, but he doesn't really do anything per se. Not really, no. We do briefly, yes, briefly, this is her sister, Yuri. Yep, she is here. She's here with Ren. It is a very, very brief appearance by her. She's just basically, essentially a minor character. Unlike in the show itself, she only was she was a major character. She got a ton of development throughout the whole show. Not the case of this one, per se. We do see the drawings that she had for the show. That does pop up here. We do briefly see the cafe her aunt owns. Her aunt herself does not appear in this special. Nope, she does not. She does not appear here at all. And for the mirror monsters, we only see technically 2, kind of. One is the spider monster we see in the first episode of the show. The other is like a little robot. So it's like how does Senji get the deck of cards? In the show itself, he gets it while fighting through some guy's apartment. Here he finds the guy, and he's defeated. And by the way, they played the scene later on with Ren. After the guy who's in the suit for Variety gives him basically a suplex that basically powers his head into the ground. He gives him the deck and becomes Kamen Rider Ryuki without doing the contract stuff. And he's not blank like he was in the show. So he just becomes Rider and then he wants to stop the fight. Now, we do also see other Riders here. And this is interesting. So Scissors in this one, he is here, and he does play a little bit more of a role here than he does in the main show itself. He does work with him briefly, and then he turns on him and he gets killed by a character he never interacted with the show. I believe he got killed by, let's see, who killed him in here? Oja. Yeah, Oja. Yeah, and it's Akira. Yep. Same guy, which apparently you see at first in prison here, and he's got like a Hannibal Lecter, and we see his lawyer here, which There's no mention of being a lawyer at all. No. Zoda basically, Ryuki. There's no mention of being a lawyer at all. He's just a guy in a suit. Like, oh, I'll take away the stick of cards. And then he just kind of tricks him to... Actually, no, his monster shows up, and then he takes CG hostage, have him drop his bottle of water, long enough for him to transform, and then basically bust out of his cell. Yes. Ren himself doesn't do a lot, per se. It's like he's talking to one of the writers, and he acts completely different. He talks to Rhea briefly. Yeah, he himself, now in the main show itself, he is basically on the side of our lead, and well, he basically is an ally character, and here he's just, well, how should I put this? He just, like, yeah, and then he's killed, and Ren feels nothing for him. Yeah, the way Ren is written in this special is completely different to how he is depicted in the show itself. Yeah, so different. Yes. Yeah, Odin's here, but we don't see him to the very end. Like, by the way, the Dark Ryuki and the what is the name of this female one is Feminine. Yeah, they briefly appear at the very end. They don't do a lot in this special. It's just an alternate take on it, and it just seeing this like I get the fact. Yes, this is basically it's described as like another pilot. You can think it was it's also a timeline. But what I think of the special itself, I thought it was interesting for what it was. It just that it wasn't the show itself. I understand that. I do appreciate the fact they actually had the opening title sequence in the show, which good in for doing that. But what we're gonna watch this? Only here completions for Ryuki. It doesn't really. The only thing it's important for this one is a debut writer who only exists and who only showed up in this. He only showed up in this special, and he showed up in episode final. Yeah, Verde. Yeah, he only popped up here. And he popped up in like the 30th anniversary movie, and apparently he kind of appeared in Generations Forever. Yeah, he didn't do much at all. Like, not really. Oh, there's Image. We technically only made appearances in like just a special in the movie. And that is really it for him. Well, there's an alternate version of him who does pop up in Decade for an episode. Yep. By the way, this guy is the one responsible for killing the first Ryuki. He killed Rhea and he killed Ren. Now, in the case of CG, he does briefly become Kamen Knight, which he does the whole. He also debuts Survival here, which you get early appearance of that, which becomes a big part of the show itself. And he just defeats. By the way, Verda is defeated by Ren after he basically gives him the pilot driver, and then Ren dies. Before he dies, gives him his. He gives CG his deck after his deck was destroyed by Odin. Then he just transforms, takes a motorcycle, knocks to the riders, and he doesn't get smashed Mary. He turns around and fights the riders, and then we go to the alternate ending where he does do that, and you think, oh, is the fight over? Not really. The fight continues, and he basically is driven nuts by the end of it. But that's how it kind of happens here. Just all takes and characters, and that's all in here per se. You only Ren's death is surprising, given the fact he does survive the show, no problem. Because by the time the show ends, he is like the only survivor in the show itself. While CG does die toward the end of it, which is kind of sad that he does. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. Next up, we have a Metal Heroes review, and then I'm going to go out and come back. When I get back, I'm going to work on basically the I have like 4 episodes now. I'll talk about more of the reason why as I stop with what comes to male heroes. Okay, thanks for you. Bye.